Before Adam and Eve, before mankind walked upon this earth, there was a story, a hidden narrative of beings created by God long before humanity's arrival. These celestial beings were the architects of the divine plan, the watchers who were entrusted with cosmic knowledge and tasked with keeping order in the universe. But what if I told you that their story, their very existence, has been silenced for centuries? What if the true history of creation as we know it has been manipulated and erased, leaving only fragments of the truth? Why have these ancient writings, these forbidden texts, been kept from us? What is it that they were trying to hide from humanity? Could it be that what we've been taught about the origins of life, the fall of man, and even the creation of the universe is only a small part of a much grander story? In this video, we will explore the hidden world of the first beings created by God, a world that stretches beyond what we've been told. You'll discover the celestial wars, the forbidden knowledge shared with humanity, and the catastrophic consequences that followed. You will understand why these beings, who once shaped the cosmos, now lie forgotten in the shadows of history. Stay with us as we reveal the truth that was hidden from the world for so long. The journey we are about to embark on will challenge everything you thought you knew. What happened to these watchers, and why were their actions so dangerous that the church felt compelled to erase their story? Comment below with your thoughts. Do you believe these ancient texts hold the key to a deeper understanding of our existence? Like this video, if you want to learn more about the secrets that have been buried beneath the surface of history. Subscribe to uncover more hidden truths, because the story of creation, as you know it, is only the beginning. The beings created before humanity. Before the first light of creation was breathed upon this world, before man took his first steps upon the earth, there were beings created by God. These beings were not human, and they were not angels in the sense we understand today. They existed in a realm beyond our comprehension, tasked with roles that stretched across the cosmos itself. These beings were the Watchers, the celestial guardians, the architects of the divine plan. Their purpose was to maintain order in the universe, to oversee the shaping of the world, and to ensure that everything was prepared for the coming of man. But what were they really? What did they do, and why were their stories silenced? In the Book of Enoch, we are introduced to the Watchers, a group of powerful spiritual beings who were sent to earth to fulfill specific divine duties. They were created long before humanity, entrusted with vast knowledge and given dominion over the elements. They were not bound by the limitations that man would soon face. Their task was grand, watching over the earth, preparing it for human existence. The Book of Jubilees tells us that these beings had roles beyond our human understanding. Some were guardians of the stars, others were rulers over natural forces, and some even had the authority to shape the earth itself. These beings were not just passive observers. They played an active role in shaping the course of creation. They were stewards of the world, meant to protect and guide the unfolding of the divine plan. Yet, their story is one that is shrouded in mystery, for these beings were not meant to be remembered. Their names, their purpose, and their very existence were hidden from humanity. Why? What happened that caused these divine beings to be erased from history? Their role in creation obscured. The truth lies in the way their power was perceived. These Watchers were given immense knowledge that was beyond what man was meant to understand. This divine knowledge included the mysteries of the heavens, the stars, the movement of the planets, the deep workings of creation. But it also included dangerous secrets, the cosmic laws, the boundaries of life and death, and how the fabric of the universe itself could be manipulated. What if the wisdom these beings possessed was simply too much for humanity to bear? What if their presence on Earth was not a gift, but a test? A test to see how we, as a species, would respond to knowledge beyond our comprehension. And yet, despite being stewards of the divine plan, some watchers began to question their role. They began to challenge God's decisions. They began to see themselves as something more, something beyond the role they had been given. As we look back on their story, there is a lesson here. We too are entrusted with knowledge. Our access to information today is boundless. We live in a world where knowledge flows freely, but the question is, how do we use it? Like the Watchers, we are entrusted with understanding, cosmic understanding, spiritual understanding. But we must be careful. Knowledge is not inherently dangerous, but how we choose to wield it can change the course of everything. It is a gift, but also a responsibility. The Watcher's story is a reminder that we must seek wisdom with humility, understanding that we are not meant to know everything. Our quest for knowledge must come with wisdom and caution. It is only when we push beyond the limits of our understanding, when we seek to control forces beyond our comprehension, that we risk losing our way. And as we venture deeper into the story, we find that some of the Watchers failed this test. They allowed their desire for more power, for more knowledge, to lead them astray. But what were the consequences of their actions? How did their choices change the very course of creation? Let us now turn to the next chapter in their story. The Fall and the Rebellion. The story of the Watchers takes a dark turn as we delve into their fall from grace. These celestial beings, entrusted with such power and knowledge, began to defy the very purpose they were created for. What began as a mission to watch over humanity and prepare the earth for its arrival soon spiraled into a rebellion. The Watchers did not remain content with their role. They wanted more. They began to question God's plan, and in doing so, they made a fateful decision that would alter the course of human history forever. According to the Book of Enoch, the Watchers, in their pride, began to teach mankind knowledge that was never meant to be shared. They revealed the secrets of the heavens, magic, astrology, metallurgy, and even weapon-making. They imparted to humanity the knowledge that could alter the fabric of reality itself. These teachings, though seemingly benign in their intention, were incredibly dangerous. Mankind was not ready to handle such profound knowledge, and their lives, their societies, and the world itself would be irrevocably changed. In the Genesis account, we get a brief mention of the sons of God, who took wives from the daughters of men. This short passage has long been a mystery. Who were these beings, and why did they interact with humanity in this way? The Book of Enoch gives us the answer. These were the Watchers, beings who once stood in the heavenly courts, now descending to earth and breaking the boundaries set by God. In doing so, they defied the divine order and introduced chaos into the world. But why did the Watchers rebel? Was it a desire for more power, or was it something deeper? Perhaps it was a longing for connection, for understanding, or even for companionship. These beings, created to serve in the heavenly realm, were now part of the earthly world, a world full of temptations, contradictions, and mysteries. In their desire to connect with humanity, they gave them knowledge that forever changed the course of history. The consequences of their actions were swift and severe. God, in his justice, condemned the Watchers for their transgression. The Book of Enoch describes how these beings were cast into the abyss, imprisoned for their rebellion, bound by chains until the day of judgment. Their actions, their pride, and their desire to break the divine order brought about a cosmic reckoning that echoes throughout time. What can we learn from the fall of the Watchers? Their story is a cautionary tale about the dangers of hubris, of overstepping boundaries that were never meant to be crossed. Their rebellion teaches us that there are limits to what we are meant to understand and control. It is a reminder that wisdom and power must always be tempered with humility. The Watchers sought to be more than they were created to be, and in doing so, they lost everything. As we reflect on their story, let us ask ourselves, are we too in danger of overstepping our bounds? In our pursuit of knowledge, in our thirst for power and understanding, are we forgetting the divine order that governs the universe? The Watcher's fall is not just a story from the past. It is a warning for all of us. Their rebellion changed everything, changed the very course of human history. And as we look to the future, we must ask ourselves, are we destined to repeat their mistakes, or will we learn from their fall? What happens when we challenge the natural order of things, when we seek to control forces beyond our understanding? The Watcher's story is not just one of cosmic conflict. It is a reflection of the choices we face every day. As we continue this journey through the ancient texts, we will uncover even more about the rebellion of the Watchers, their ultimate fate, and how their actions reverberated through history. But one thing is clear: their story is not just a tale of the past. It is a living, breathing lesson that continues to guide us today. Let us take heed and learn from the lessons they left behind. The forgotten truths. The history of creation is far deeper and more complex than the stories we have been told. What if I told you that the truths about the first beings created by God have been erased, hidden from human knowledge for centuries? For generations, these beings and their roles in the divine plan have been lost, their stories wiped away as if they never existed. But why? What were these beings capable of that made their existence so dangerous to the powers that sought to control the narrative of creation? In the Book of Enoch, we see glimpses of these truths that were too powerful, too unsettling for the established religious authorities. These books were excluded from the Bible, their contents deemed too controversial, too dangerous for public knowledge. And yet, within these writings, we find the untold story of beings that shaped the very cosmos before humanity even existed. These beings were not merely observers, but active participants in the cosmic drama. They were entrusted with wisdom and authority, their knowledge extending far beyond the limits of human understanding. What truths were hidden? What secrets about the heavens, about the nature of existence, were erased from history? The Watchers, the first celestial beings created by God, held the keys to vast knowledge. They understood the workings of the stars, the creation of the universe, and the very laws of nature. This knowledge, if given to humanity, would have unlocked the potential for great advancement, but also great destruction. The danger wasn't in the knowledge itself, but in how it was used. When these beings began to impart this forbidden wisdom to humans, they introduced a chaos that had never been seen before. This knowledge included the secrets of life and death, the movement of the stars, and even the creation of weapons and tools. Knowledge that should have remained hidden from mankind was passed down. And as we look at the world today, we can trace the echoes of this forbidden wisdom in the technologies we have created, in the spiritual confusion that pervades our world. This is the lesson we must learn from the Watcher's actions. Knowledge is a double-edged sword. It can uplift us, but it can also destroy us if wielded recklessly. The Watchers had access to the secrets of the universe, but they did not understand the gravity of sharing such knowledge. They gave humanity the power to shape its destiny, but also the power to destroy it. In their arrogance, they failed to recognize the responsibility that came with this knowledge. As we reflect on their story, we must ask ourselves, are we too capable of using knowledge for good? Do we understand the responsibility that comes with the wisdom we seek? The Watcher's downfall serves as a stark reminder that we must tread carefully in our pursuit of understanding. Knowledge without wisdom is a dangerous thing. And yet, the story doesn't end there. The truth about the Watchers and their fall is not just a historical curiosity, it is a warning for us today. The knowledge they shared with humanity has had a profound impact on our world, and its consequences are still unfolding. But what if there is more to the story? What if there are even greater truths hidden, truths that have yet to be revealed? Let us continue to uncover these mysteries. The celestial wars before humanity. The cosmic battles fought before humanity's creation are not merely myth, they are part of a deeper, more profound truth about the nature of existence. The Watcher's fall was not an isolated incident. It was part of a larger conflict, a celestial war that took place long before humanity walked the earth. These spiritual beings, entrusted with the care of the universe, were not alone in their rebellion. There were other celestial beings who, like them, chose to defy God's will. In the Dead Sea Scrolls, we find further evidence of these celestial wars, battles fought between various orders of spiritual beings. The war was not just about power, it was a struggle over the very fabric of creation itself. The Watchers were not the only ones who questioned God's plan. Other beings, who once stood in the heavenly courts, also sought to challenge the divine order. But what were the stakes of this celestial war? The fate of the universe hung in the balance. These beings were tasked with overseeing the creation of the world, with preparing the earth for the arrival of mankind. They were the architects of creation, shaping the elements and ensuring that the world would be ready for humanity's entrance. But when some of these beings rebelled, when they defied God's will, the order of the cosmos was thrown into chaos. This battle was not fought with physical weapons, but with spiritual forces, forces that shaped the destiny of the universe. The war between the celestial beings was not just about power, but about control over the divine plan. The consequences of this war were far-reaching, affecting not just the heavenly realms, but the very fabric of creation itself. The earth, once a pristine world, became a battleground for spiritual forces, a place where the forces of light and darkness would struggle for dominance. The Book of Enoch speaks of the imprisonment of the fallen angels, beings who were cast into the abyss for their rebellion. These beings, once the guardians of creation, were now bound in chains, awaiting their final judgment. Their rebellion had far-reaching consequences, and their punishment was a reflection of the severity of their actions. The celestial war had not only disrupted the heavenly order, but had also scarred the earth itself. As we consider the cosmic conflict that took place before humanity, we must ask ourselves, what does this tell us about the nature of our world today? The battle between light and darkness is not a distant memory. It is a struggle that continues to play out in our lives, in the choices we make, and in the forces that shape our reality. The celestial war was a fight for control over creation, and in many ways we are still living in the aftermath of that conflict. But there is hope. The story of the Watchers and the celestial wars is not just one of rebellion and punishment. It is also a story of redemption and restoration. The forces of light will ultimately triumph, and the order of the universe will be restored. But this victory requires a choice to stand on the side of light, to seek wisdom with humility, and to recognize the divine order that governs all things. The celestial wars remind us that we are not alone in this world. We are part of a much larger story, one that spans the heavens and touches the very heart of creation. The forces that shape our world are not always visible, but they are real. And as we move forward, we must remember the lessons of the past. The Watchers, in their rebellion, sought to change the course of history, but in doing so they set in motion a chain of events that continues to affect us today. The question remains, will we learn from their mistakes? Will we choose to align ourselves with the forces of light, or will we continue to be swayed by the temptations of knowledge and power? The celestial war may have been fought in the heavens, but its consequences are felt here on earth. As we navigate our own spiritual journey, let us remember the lessons of the past and strive to walk in the light. The influence of the erased beings. The celestial rebellion, the war between light and darkness, did not end with the Watchers' fall. Though their story was erased from our history, their influence continues to reverberate through the world today. These beings, once granted great power and knowledge, were not just forgotten. Their presence has left indelible marks on the spiritual fabric of the universe. The truth about their actions, the knowledge they imparted to humanity, and the rebellion they sparked, have created ripples that we continue to feel, whether we are aware of it or not. In the book of Enoch, the fallen angels are cast into the abyss, sealed away from the world. But their influence did not simply vanish. The knowledge they shared with humanity did not fade into nothingness. Instead, it was passed down through generations, buried in secret societies, encoded in sacred texts, and whispered in the hidden corners of human civilization. From magic to astrology, from metallurgy to weaponry, the knowledge of the Watchers shaped the course of human history in ways we are only beginning to understand. We can see the legacy of their teachings in the advancement of human civilization, in the creation of technologies and knowledge that have transformed the world. But we must ask ourselves, have we fully grasped the consequences of such wisdom? The story of the Watchers teaches us that wisdom, while a gift, is also a responsibility. Knowledge can lead to enlightenment, but when misused, it can bring destruction. As we look at our modern world, we can see the echoes of the Watchers' influence. Our advancements in science, technology, and spirituality have opened new doors to understanding the universe. Yet these advancements come with a price. The more we learn, the more we realize how much we don't know. There is a balance to be maintained, a responsibility to use our knowledge wisely, lest we fall into the same traps that led the Watchers astray. The influence of these erased beings reminds us that we are part of a larger cosmic story. Their rebellion, their teachings, and their punishment are not just ancient events. They are a reflection of the choices we face today. The question we must ask ourselves is, how will we use the knowledge we have? Will we, like the Watchers, use it recklessly, or will we choose to wield it with wisdom and humility? The path we choose will shape not only our future, but the very future of the world itself. As we reflect on the Watchers' legacy, we must also acknowledge that their story is not one of defeat. The battle between light and darkness is ongoing. The knowledge they shared with humanity, though dangerous, has also been a source of enlightenment. But with that enlightenment comes a responsibility to guide the world toward a higher understanding, to use the knowledge wisely, and to avoid the mistakes of the past. The Watchers may have fallen, but their legacy is still alive within us. It is up to us to decide how we will carry it forward. The lesson from the Cosmic War. The Cosmic War fought between the forces of light and darkness. The rebellion of the Watchers was not just a celestial conflict. It was a reflection of the very nature of creation itself, a struggle between free will and divine order, between the desire for knowledge and the wisdom to wield it. The story of the Watchers is a story of cosmic proportions, a battle fought not with swords, but with the very essence of existence. The Watchers, in their pride, sought to surpass their purpose, to challenge the divine plan that had been set for them. And in doing so, They not only fell from grace, but set in motion a chain of events that would forever alter the course of history. But what is the lesson we can learn from this cosmic war? The story of the Watchers teaches us that there is power in humility. The Watchers, despite their great wisdom and power, failed to recognize the limits of their knowledge. They sought to understand things that were beyond their comprehension, and in doing so, they overstepped the boundaries set by God. Their pride led to their downfall, and their rebellion led to chaos. The Bible, in many ways, is filled with stories of such struggles between the forces of good and evil, between the divine and the human. The fall of the Watchers is just one chapter in a larger story, one that mirrors the spiritual battles we face in our own lives. The lesson here is clear. Knowledge and power are not inherently bad, but without wisdom and humility, they can lead to destruction. In our own lives, we face similar struggles. We are given knowledge and power, and we are faced with choices about how to use them. Will we use them for good, to bring light into the world? Or will we, like the Watchers, misuse them for our own gain, leading to chaos and destruction? The choice is ours. But we must remember the lesson of the Watchers. Knowledge is a gift, but it is also a responsibility. We must seek wisdom, not just power. We must recognize our limits, not strive to surpass them. Only then can we avoid the pitfalls that led to their fall. The cosmic war is not just a story from the past. It is a story that continues to play out in our world today. The forces of light and darkness, good and evil, are still at work. The question is, which side will we choose? Will we stand on the side of light, using our knowledge and power to heal the world, or will we be tempted by the same pride that led the Watchers to fall? As we face this choice, we must remember that the battle is not just for control of the world. It is a battle for our souls. The story of the Watchers is not just a warning about the dangers of pride and knowledge. It is a reminder that we are part of a larger, cosmic story, one that is unfolding every day. The choices we make, the way we use our knowledge, and the path we choose will shape not only our future, but the very future of the world itself. In the end, the lesson of the Watchers is simple. Humility and wisdom must guide us in all that we do. The cosmic war may be fought in the heavens, but its consequences are felt here on earth. Let us learn from the past, choose the side of light, and use the knowledge we have been given to bring healing and restoration to the world. For in this battle, there is no neutral ground. We must choose our side, and we must choose wisely. The fate of the world depends on it. As we come to the end of this journey, I want to leave you with a thought that I hope will resonate deeply within your heart. The story of the Watchers, the rebellion that shook the heavens, and the wisdom that has been hidden from us for so long, is not just an ancient tale. It is a story that speaks to our present lives, to the choices we make every single day. It reminds us that knowledge, though powerful, is not without its dangers. It tells us that we must approach wisdom with humility and responsibility, for when we stray from divine guidance, we risk losing ourselves in the process. Throughout history, there have been forces at work, both visible and invisible, guiding and shaping the course of humanity. We are not just passive players in this cosmic drama, we are active participants, and the choices we make, the knowledge we seek, and the paths we choose will determine the future of not just ourselves, but of the world around us. The Watchers, in their rebellion, changed the course of history, but their story is not just one of tragedy. It is a warning, yes, but it is also an opportunity, a call to awaken, to seek wisdom, and to recognize the responsibility that comes with the knowledge we now possess. The world is filled with noise, so much of it distracting us from what truly matters. But when we pause and reflect on the deeper truths that lie beneath the surface, we begin to understand that there is something greater at work in our lives. We are here for a reason. We are not just passing through this world. We are part of a much grander story that stretches across the heavens and touches the very heart of creation. And like the Watchers, we are entrusted with knowledge that can heal, knowledge that can harm. The power is in our hands. The question is, how will we use it? If this video has spoken to your soul, if it has helped you find light in the midst of darkness, or if it has made you reflect on the deeper mysteries of existence, then I ask you to take a moment and share your thoughts in the comments below. Your voice matters, and your insight could spark a conversation that leads to even greater understanding. If you feel the weight of this message, the truth that has been hidden from us for so long, then I invite you to support this channel by liking and subscribing. Your support, no matter how small, is invaluable. It is through your encouragement that I am able to continue creating these videos and sharing the timeless wisdom that has the power to change lives. Every contribution, every like, every comment is more than just an interaction. It is a ripple in the larger ocean of truth, a movement that can spread the light to those who need it most. This journey is not mine alone. It is ours, a shared exploration of the hidden truths that connect us all. And as we continue to seek knowledge and understanding, let us do so with a heart full of humility and a mind open to the divine plan that is unfolding before us. I thank you from the depths of my heart for being here, for listening, for reflecting, and for sharing this journey with me. Your presence is a gift, and together we are uncovering the truths that have been buried for far too long. As you go forward, remember that the choices you make, the knowledge you seek, and the wisdom you gain are powerful forces. Use them wisely and let them guide you toward healing, peace, and understanding. Thank you for being a part of this community. Your energy, your support, and your spirit are what make this all possible. And as we continue to seek the truth, let us do so with the knowledge that we are not alone. We are all part of a much larger, divine story, a story that is still unfolding, and one that we are all invited to be a part of. Together, we will continue to discover the secrets that have been hidden for so long, and we will walk forward in light, wisdom, and truth. Thank you, and may peace and healing fill your heart always.